history of tea starts not in Japan, but in China, where they've been practicing the way of tea for more than 2,000 years. Paul Rosenberg of Heaven Tea explains.
Buddhist monks early on brought tea from the monasteries into Japan, where it evolved into its own very unique Japanese form of tea ceremony.
The Portland Japanese Garden Tea Group, Kaishen Teikai, lets the public view presentations of tea monthly between April and October. If invited to a private tea gathering, one of the first things a guest does is purify their hands and palate at the sukubai.
So before entering the tea house, the guests go through the gate of the inner roji, or the inner tea garden. And this phase symbolizes leaving the dust of the world behind, leaving everyday cares behind, and purifying oneself, purifying the hands and purifying the mouth, and getting ready to enter into the sacred space of the tea house.
Leonard Marcel has been a student and teacher of the Zen philosophy since 1984.
Tea is what we might consider to be a Zen art. It is one of the ways that Zen principles are applied to daily life. I'm a psychiatrist, and so when I work with my patients, I can bring to that interchange my own sense of peacefulness and presence, and really be with the other person.
Wagashi is a general term for the sweets used in the tea ceremony. They bond the host and guest, prepare the palate for the unsweetened tea, and are another example of how the arts of Japan are incorporated in the tea ceremony. Gina Renault of the Piedmont area creates those sweets.
When I was living in Japan as a child, I was introduced to a lot of the different arts and crafts that were a part of that culture. With a passion for cooking and food, when I discovered that I could teach myself how to make some of these things, that this could be, in a sense, kind of a new art form, kind of an edible art form. And I think that what's really attractive to me about Japanese confections is that it follows in the same way as the seasonal variety of plants and vegetables. The way that it's made, there's so many different varieties in terms of forms that it can take.
The movements within tea that most people experience today are from the time of Rikyu, probably he and his contemporaries. These movements have always been done basically the same way, and that's the way a tradition continues.
Jan Waldman is a tea instructor with the Urasenki Wakai Tea Association. She studies tea and has been associated with the Portland Japanese Garden since the mid-1970s.
For a long time I really wanted to teach tea, right? And I love it. The biggest, most important factor of teaching tea is that you learn more than your students. So you can instruct students in format, but you're not only dealing with the format, you're dealing with individuals and their personalities. It's not just the tea itself. They are ingesting everything around them.
Suwaku Watanabe has been studying the way of tea since 1999.
When you're immersed in it, in the culture, you don't appreciate, you don't see the value of it. And once you're away from it, then you start to, or discover the value of your culture. So I think Japanese culture and is very important, and I just don't want to lose it. And that's part of my identity.
The bowls used in drinking the ceremonial matcha are unique, designed and created for one purpose: Richard Brandt from the Hawthorne District is a craftsman of the ceremonial bowls.
I felt that I would really like to explore what tea bowls are, the origins of them, how exactly they work. And because of that, I decided to become a student of the Japanese tea ceremony. I don't really think too much about trying to mimic a stone or trying to mimic a tree or trying to be too classic. I feel as though the classic forms came out of the naturalness of the person who made them.
There are several tea groups in the Portland area. Margie Yap teaches at the Isoan Tea School.
I feel like I'm a transmitter of the culture. So I learned from Japanese teachers, and so I feel like kind of first-generation American teacher to pass this on. And we have nothing like this in the West. We don't have anything that teaches etiquette, aesthetics of beauty, and cultural arts. So I think it's nice to concentrate on that and to be able to incorporate that into your life. I think some people are searching for something, whether that's spiritual, whether that's tranquility, but this offers something that's concentrated, and it gets to a place where there's less stress in their lives.
Even though the tea ceremony seems rather elaborate, Master Rikyu, when asked to describe it once, said that it is simply a matter of boiling water, making tea, and drinking it.